Hello and welcome to day 23 of L2 construction series. Good morning, everyone. I'm Hongkit. Together with me this morning is my co-host, Loon. Social distancing is expected to be the new social norm even after NCO ends. We have been saying this for the past weeks. As the behavior and practices of the people have changed, a new era may have already begun with digitalization and new technologies driving the shift. For majority of the people, to buy a property means to physically meet a salesperson, to physically view an actual unit or a show unit. If I'm happy with it, I will have to physically meet someone from the bank to apply for my loan. And it is completely normal to wait several days or at times weeks for the loan to be approved. So how are we going to do all this under the new social norm? The emergence of PropTech and FinTech may seem to be the answer to this. In fact, they even have the ambition to engineer a much needed boost to Malaysian property market in these difficult times. Well, can this really be done? That is the topic for today, how the emergence of PropTech and FinTech impacts the Malaysian property market. We have 4 guests today to talk about it with us, and they are Mr. Chuah, CEO of Prosales, Han from Finology, Ignatius Hall, and David Fu, founders of JaGaApp. They will give us an overview of the up-to-date digital technologies on property purchase, bank loan processes, and property management. Let's have Chuah to start first. Chuah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so this is Chua's second appearance here. Apparently, he likes L2 series, and today he has brought together 3 friends with him. Chuah, few words about yourself, and then go ahead and start. Over to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi guys. Good morning, everyone. Actually, I think you all must be familiar with me as I already joined for this section for once last time. Then just a brief, I'm Chuah, the CEO of the Prosales. Today, I would like to share about how the emergence of the PropTech and FinTech impact the Malaysian property industry and how the technology will help in property developer and agent during this MCO period. Okay, next please. Okay, so basically this is what our company does. Okay, we are actually a PropTech company that is helping doing all those digitalization solutions. Next. Okay, next please. Okay, nowadays everyone is looking for a solution that is safe and functional to solve the issue where everyone is practicing the social distance and stay at home. Next please. Okay, next slide please. Okay, the marketing behavior and trend has been changes into the digital era where everyone is using the virtual tools to communicate within each other, and this also include the property industry. For those property agent and the salesperson is now switching their services and their sales conversion method to virtually, like they are trying to provide the receipt and attend to their own prospect, their customer through the internet by using the virtual tool, something like the Zoom, the Skype. They're trying to do the presentation by using the web conferencing method. Hence, due to this marketing trend, a powerful online marketing tools is very essential to help the property agent to continue closing their sales without having to meet their prospect through the internet. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, and what the important thing for the property agent and the salesperson, they actually need a marketing tools that can be able to cover everything, every marketing material that is needed for them to do the sales inside a mobile app, so that they are able to directly share the mobile apps to the prospect and then do their presentation to them. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, other than the marketing material that I showed just now, Then the virtual communication tools is also important to closing the gaps between the property agent or the salesperson and the prospect. Then that's why for our Prosales app, I can actually directly share the Zoom meeting links through the WhatsApp or the social media so that the property agent or salesperson can invite the prospect to join for their presentation in their Zoom meeting. Okay, next slide, please. And what the technology aims is the technology actually is going to allow the property agent or the salesperson to provide their services without a border through the internet and without worry on the social distancing or even at today the MCO period. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so for now, I will just do a quick demo about how the technology works to help the property agent to share their screen and do the presentation inside their mobile apps. Just like what we did. Okay, just like what we did today. Okay, we actually doing the Zoom meeting, all those the Skype meeting to do all those conferencing and share our information through the internet. Then this is what the property agent and the salesperson do lah. They actually also trying to present their property. They're trying to sell their property through the internet. Like what they need today is actually they need the e-marketing tools that is inside the mobile apps. Like something like I can show you now is what the property will need is they are able to show the unit type plan. Like let's say yours is my potential buyer lah. Then today I'm the property agent. I'm going to present what I'm going to show you and what I'm going to sell you the property. Then inside our mobile apps, we actually can help the property agent to show the different type of the unit type plan, and even for the detailing that they are able to directly through the communication with the prospect, they are actually directly they can be doing the filtering through the mobile apps. They are able to show what is the property and the unit type that they have inside their mobile apps. Then after that, they are able to show the details, like what is the project, where is the location, then is there any facility, then what is the floor plan, what is the unit that's available, and even for the car park plan. That they can be directly show out what is the highlighted car park, and they are able to sell it inside the mobile apps also. Then what is the best for the online marketing tools is actually they are able to sell the location even with the so-called Google Maps. Then where's the nearby train, where's the nearby shopping mall, and where's the nearby amenities. Okay. Then after that, they are able to directly show the 360. For this virtualized technology, actually is very important for the property agent to show what is the products. Is like all this, the virtual tools, we say the 360, they are able to directly integrate inside the mobile apps, and they can directly show the buyer how exactly the show unit looks like without the buyer actually going to the physical show unit. And then other than that, we actually can able to directly show the brochure, then what is the detail or any marketing material, the marketing document can be also be able to share inside the screen. Then after that, another thing is the image. Like the image, if let's say they got any perspective or any image gallery, they can also directly able to show it inside the mobile apps. So basically what the technology do is actually technology is trying to connect the property agent and the buyer together, then so that the property agent is able to share more details and do the communication and the follow up and sell their product through online. Okay, so basically this is what our Prosales app do for the technology to help the property agent to more effectively sell their products. Okay, then that's all for my sharing and presentation about the Prosales app. I would like to pass my mic to the next guest, Mr. Han from the Finology.
Hi, Chuah, thank you very much. Next slide, please. Hi, morning everyone. My name is Han. I'm from Finology. Just a little bit brief about my company. Finology has been around since about 2012. We are a fintech company. Our clients are usually in the banking, insurance, and property sector. Next slide, please. So a little bit about me. I'm the head of business development in Finology. I have about 10 years experience in the sales and marketing for fintech and property sector. Next slide, please. Okay, so what does Finology have? We have this marketplace, which is Loan Plus and Loan Street. So some of you have probably heard about Loan Street before. It's an aggregator website, which has been around since 2012. So let's look at some of the products that we actually offer on Loan Street. Next slide. So they do credit card application. So since the FCO, so everybody can actually go to our website, loanstreet.com.my, and you can actually apply the multiple credit cards. You can even compare it. Okay, next slide. The other things that we have also is actually loans, secured and unsecured, and even higher purchase loans. So you actually can go there, compare the interest rates that you have, and actually look at inquiry or even drop your contact there. Okay, next slide. So the latest hot thing or the latest things that we are able to do is that we are able to actually renew your car insurance, or your motor insurance, or even personal insurance through our website. We are probably one of the first who are able to do this motorcycle insurance. Okay, next. Okay, so let's talk about Loan Plus. So I believe everyone know the loan rejection rate are actually up to 70%. This was as of last year. So what's going to happen next year? I believe there will actually be an increase in this percentage. So let me paint a picture for everyone, for the property developers and for the real estate agents. So out of 1,000 leads that you get, you do your webinar sessions, you do your Facebook blasting, your ads and everything. You spend a lot of money on all this A&P, and you get 1,000 leads. From these 1,000 leads, you're able to convert about 10%, I mean less than 10%, which is 10 prospects, right? So out of these 10 prospects, you only get approved 3 because the bank will actually reject up to 70%. Okay, so from 3 to 1,000 leads is a total of less than 1%. So all the effort that you put in, all the money that you spend, you only get 3 customers, right? So how are we going to minimize this figure and actually give you a higher value for the money that you spend? Next slide, please. Right. With Loan Plus, we are instant loan pre-approval technology for property developers and real estate agents. Basically, we're able to screen your customers instantly and cross-check 18 banks' credit criteria. We aim to convert your booking to sales within 14 days. You're able to match your best inventory. And then all our systems are plug-in or API available. Next slide. Okay, so how can Loan Plus solve the issue? With our loan pre-approval tracking, it's instant loan eligibility check. We have a digital loan application. You're able to submit your loans online. We are embedded at every major point of your transaction. So with this, it improves your loan success rate and the effectiveness of your sales in terms of your marketing. And you are able to actually track your banker's performance. With this, you will actually have quicker drawdowns in terms of your billings. But during MCO, there's something that I wanted to highlight. During MCO, what Loan Plus can actually help? We're able to do digital screening for your digital sales. So if let's say you have a platform, you have a website that you're actually spending money on to actually pull the leads together to try and actually harvest sales, or you actually engage agents who are actually doing webinar sessions to actually pull customers to make a booking on your site, right? So what happens after they make a booking? You want to actually screen the eligibility of these prospects or these customers to know whether they can actually submit for a loan. So those customers that are unable to actually obtain a loan, what do you do with them? You do not push them aside, or else you take them and you tell them, during this MCO, the government is actually giving benefits, so relief plan. Use the relief plan to actually try to clear off any outstanding credits or any outstanding loans that you have, whether it's secured or unsecured, right? So We all know the banks are offering this moratorium for 6 months. So within 6 months, you're actually able to use the 30% or 40% moratorium that is covered by the bank to actually fix the other credit which you have outstanding. With that, after 3 to 6 months, you're actually able to make a booking and actually get a loan for the house, right? Isn't that better? Now, the best part for property developers or real estate agents is that you can know your customers while you're sitting at home. Everything can be done just through your phone. Next slide. So this is how it happens. You will key in the case into the Loan Plus app, and then your purchaser will actually receive an SMS for them to input their income information. We will run through our credit evaluation engine and extract the CITOS or Experian report and cross through 18 banks' credit criteria to come up with a pre-approval report. Next slide, please. Okay, so the pre is quite small. So the pre-approval report looks something like this. On the top section, you actually have the customer's name, the installment amount, and the loan requested amount. Now, if we come to the juicy part, which is on the second section, we break it down to the customer's CRIS, CITOS, and the DSR. For those of you who don't know, CRIS is basically their repayment record. CITOS is actually litigation or any outstanding court cases, and DSR is actually their income versus their commitment. Okay, so we're able to screen up to 4 customers, right, in a single report and actually grade them or summarize them all together with an overall rating. So we grade our customers from A up to D. For A and B are straight through process, meaning that you can get 90% loan and usually it's a very high success rate. For customers with C and D are the ones that we will advise you that you will need to fix your credit, all right, or maybe clear your outstandings. So all this will be provided through the app. And we come to the third section, which will be the banks that will offer the highest margin of finance, and we're able to display the max loan eligibility for your customer. So from here, even though let's say you're pushing for a 500,000 property, but actually you can know your customer can borrow up to 600,000. So you can actually upsell a different inventory or actually pushing for a bigger unit. Next, please. All right, so what are the various ways that you can engage with us? We have the loan pre-approval check, as you saw before. We also have a management dashboard for you to track all your cases. We are able to do bulk loan screening for affordable homes, and all our systems are plug-in API ready. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so these are the participating banks that we have. STP ready, meaning is straight through process ready. Straight through process meaning you can screen online. After you screen, you can directly do the submission with the 3 banks that we have or we have already signed the contract with. Okay, we'll be trying to get more banks in the coming future. Next, please. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. Now I'll pass the mic to Mr. Ignatius from JaGaApp. On to you.
Hi. So thank you very much. Unlike the first 2 presenters, we at JaGaApp are slightly focused on VP or already completed projects, where residents are already staying in it. Maybe a brief introduction to JaGaApp. JaGaApp is part of a suite of products we call JaGa Solution. And it started off with the tripartite relationship between the guards, the management office, as well as residents. We provide this system for features such as emergency assist, notice board, facility booking, online forms, online payment of maintenance fees and sinking funds, as well as feedbacks. Actually, the idea of social distancing with or without the MCO or COVID-19 is a trend that has been slowly brewing over time. In a modern generation, those that are in the teens, in the early 20s, they're very used to concepts like instant response, or things are open and operational 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And this has all been brought by the improvements in technology and mediums such as mobile applications. So next slide. For my presentation, I'll be focusing on whether property management is an essential services, as well as how do we work, or how does your property management work during, before, and even after the MCO. So next slide, please. So essentially, property management is not a essential services, but a necessary services. Until the 6th of April, you know, many management office were under the assumption that, you know, things were going on as planned, you know, and office is open as per normal. You know, there are certain guidelines which I think if you run your own management office, if you're a developer and if you run your still control your projects, you'll have to adhere to, you know. So how do we work during an MCO? And actually, before that, actually, what work is actually done at management office level? You know, it has not changed before the MCO, during the MCO, and after the MCO. Short of ad hoc projects or improvements in the neighborhood, you know, like redoing the swimming pool or, you know, changing the gym, the usual work still carries on. Yeah, unfortunately, this work is or comes from different or multiple sources. You know, they come from the management or committee's observation or residents' observation something is wrong. They come from walk-in complaints, they come from calls, they come from messages, and of course, there is the set of mundane routine tasks that at management office level they have to do. Yeah. And how does the management office run the show? How do they manage all these work? You know, before the MCO, after the MCO, during the MCO. I personally have visited, you know, at least 500 over management offices in the course of doing on this business JaGaApp. And I've seen everything from notebooks, paper, whiteboard. Some people do based on the memory. And of course, the worst of the managers, they work by passing work on or hiding in the office or somewhere in one of the utility rooms. Yeah. So this is not actually the way to work, we believe. And at JaGaApp, what we have done is we have created the feedback module. Okay. So the feedback module is basically a fixed format with how to categorize and efficiently solve issues within a neighborhood, okay, or a building for that matter. Feedback categories are very important, and they are custom made for each individual site. So for example, if you have a neighborhood that does not have any facility, you don't need a facility feedback category. Yeah. They allow residents, management office staff, or even the guard supervisor to basically create a title, a comment, and add up to 5 images to support their particular feedback. And these are all managed electronically. For residents that make feedbacks, we know that for a fact, and this can lead to everything from disagreements to fights to all the way to legal battles. Yeah, managing expectations is something that is very, very important. So for every feedback or every complaint that a resident does, they will be able to see it on their phone anytime, 24 hours, 7 days a week on the feedback cards. On the right-hand side screenshot, you will see that there is a thread menu where the ding-dong or the interaction between the management office and the resident can happen there. That we believe, you know, if management office communicates a little bit better with the resident, or there is a medium to communicate better, then expectations can be managed a little bit better, and misunderstandings definitely can be reduced. Yeah. So we've seen how to do it, or how JaGaApp creates feedback for residents. Let's have a look at the management office and actually how the work can be done. So everything is managed on JaGaApp from a web-based admin portal or dashboard, we call it. And from this dashboard, you are able to bring out the, can I have the next page, please? Yep. Yep. So from this dashboard, management office or committee members are able to open up the feedback section. On this feedback section, they'll be able to do everything from filtering to moderating to changing statuses from new, in progress, completed, pending committee approvals. And by doing all this, by data entering and to religiously updating all these cards or feedback cards, management office is able then to enjoy the benefits. Next page, please. And what is those benefits? Those benefits are mainly to be able to filter and to systematically solve issues within any neighborhood. Okay, So if I can have the next page, you will be able to see what management office can do, which is basically on a weekly, daily, monthly, whatever time period they choose, they will be able to generate feedback reports. Now, what we are advocating is during MCO or even after MCO, that the management office religiously generates these feedback cards, and that way they can systematically solve issues. For example, landscaping issue, a property manager can then print out this report, pass it on to the landscape contractor and say, can you fix this, comment on it. These are all the items pertaining to landscaping issues. Similar to the chargeman, similar to the maintenance crew, they can, or even the security guard for this matter, they can pass on each of these reports to those particular PICs and get them to fix them systematically. Yeah. So not in a nutshell, if I want to just focus on one particular topic, which is how to work during an MCO, we at JaGaApp are advocating, if you use the feedback cards and use the feedback reports, whether it's the MCO period or after the MCO period, property management, the actual fact of management of a property will be a lot more efficient, and items or cases or feedbacks, complaints will not go missing, will not go unattended, and generally we'll all be operating at a higher kind of level. Yeah. So that is basically what I'm here trying to say. I'd like to pass it on back to the moderators. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuah, Han, and Ignatius for your presentations. We have some questions for you all, and I will start with Chuah. Chuah,
Yes.
you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Chuah, I follow your presentation just now. Why do you think a homeowner who is going to spend few 100,000 or even millions of ringgit is ready to buy a property without having viewed the actual property? Do you think this is realistic or a mere fantasy?
Yeah. Okay. In my opinion, that actually this is not a fantasy lah. This is actually not something new in the property industry today. In fact, other countries like the China and US has been doing it, and the result is actually quite successful. We actually have had an experience in collaborating with the overseas property agency that to sell the Malaysia property at the China, Hong Kong, Singapore, and other countries. That what they do to sell the local product to the overseas market is actually they using the online marketing tools. That's actually very important to providing the confidence for the buyer. Actually, for the technology, some technology like the visualization that has been used in the tool. Some is like just what I showed just now, like the 360 virtual tour, and even some of the 3D model that providing the 3D walkthrough that will give the buyer feel real, and they got the overview for the whole unit type layout. Since we got the experience and there is already some successful cases that already implemented overseas, I think we got no reason why we can't implement it in Malaysia. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Assuming a home buyer buys a property based on the virtual viewing through various technologies you mentioned in your presentation, how can you be sure that there would be no discrepancies between home buyers' expectations and the actual property? Doesn't it create unnecessary dispute which we don't need?
Yeah, I think this is a very good question, and I see from the Zoom group chat there, I think the Nassim, right? I think he also asking something. The question is similar like what you did, right? Okay, to answer the question for both of you, actually the discrepancy will still happen even if they buy the property face to face or even they already visit the actual physical unit. So I don't think that this will stop the implementation of the technology. On the other hand, that we should use the technology to minimize the discrepancy and the dispute for the property. Actually, by using the technology, we can actually build the 3D model and the interactive walkthrough that allow the buyer to interact in a digital environment that I think it will be almost 80 or 90% safe as the actual show unit, and it can be even more flexible and customizable. as all the user can actually easily change the layout or change the furniture inside the virtual show unit. But just to take note for both of you guys, all this technology actually is there to assist the developer or the property agent on the visualization of the virtual show unit. So to ensure the success of the implementation, or maybe the successful cases that they are able to close, actually is the responsibility of the developer itself. They must be able to give the confidence to the buyer to buy their products. I hope that I answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chuah. Time will tell whether Malaysia property industry can adapt such technology. Actually, also in most cases, the confirmation of sales by the buyer is not the end of the story. So the buyer still has to get loan approved by the bank. Now, if I buy a property through a PropTech system, how do I connect myself with FinTech to process my loan? Do I have to log on to a different platform?
Okay. For this one, actually, let's say for our system process, actually we already integrate with the Finology, which is the Loan Plus that already presented by just now the Mr. Han. That actually inside our system, the developer or the property agent is only use one platform to do everything. Means that they can even submit the loan banker submission and do the pre-approval inside our mobile apps. Okay, thank you.
Han,
Yes.
can you explain to us how does it work? Like just Chuah said, your system is in his system.
Okay, so
I'm
what
kind of
happens is
confused.
that, okay, all right, so in layman terms, both our systems are talking to each other on the back end, in layman terms. So whatever that happens on, let's say you log into a Chuah system, whatever request that happens will actually be passed on to our system through the back end. So you can't see it virtual because it's virtual. All right, and then the result will be actually sent back to Chuah system. So it's actually an end-to-end system. So you log into the Prosales, all right, you can do a credit screening there, which we will return the result through our credit evaluation engine back to Chuah system and display there. So you do not have to log into our Loan Plus app. You only need to log into one system and do all your requests, or all the functions will be available there. Thank you.
In other words, they are friends. Okay,
yes.
Han, so I was following your presentation, and I heard you told us that the FinTech could give us instant pre-approval.
Yes.
What was the difference between pre-approval and approval?
Okay, the difference between pre-approval is that we do a pre-screening of your customer or your prospects, right? Basically, we pull everything that needed to be done or needed a background check on the customer in terms of credit worthiness before it's subject to the bank submission, okay? So the difference between approval and pre-approval is that pre-approval is still subject to the customer submitting their income documents to be verified by the bank. Thank you.
Yeah, so you see the time and simplicity offered by FinTech in processing loan application is like a paradise to developers. So now, in the conventional method to process a bank loan would normally take days after the submission of all the physical documents. Where now with the help of FinTech, the approval is only minutes, right? Did you say minutes in your presentation? And few
yes,
clicks away.
we are able to do the pre-approval within minutes. Basically, you can get your report right away, and from there, actually, you can do the submission to the banker, and the banker will actually get back to you within a couple of days. Whereas the conventional way would take you probably 2 to 4 weeks until you can actually get the offer letter.
Right, so much time to save, so it's incredible. I'm done with the questioning. I'll pass the mic back now to Loon. Loon?
Thank you, Hongkit. I have questions to Mr. Ho and Mr. Fu relating to the JaGaApps pertaining to the management of security in condominiums or high-rise buildings or any guarded community. Now, during the MCO or social distancing, even if the MCO is going to be lifted, I'm sure that we will all be living in a new norm where social distancing would also be required to be practiced. Now, because people are becoming more isolated during this COVID pandemic situation, and it would actually pose more challenges or potential of security problems to the management in managing these the guarded community. Now, how does your property technology address this issue?
So I'm going to let David answer this question simply because my line is breaking up. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, you don't mind?
Yeah, I can hear you.
David, sorry.
No problem. I thought I can pass it on and just hide under the table like all management office will do, or some management office will do. But anyway, happy to answer that. So basically, JaGaApp as a platform that's been used in more than 400 neighborhoods in Malaysia. Before the MCO, it seems like it's a convenient tool, right? But during MCO, what we realized that it has become an essential tool to help connect the guards, building management team, the committees, and also the residents itself. In terms of security aspect, JaGaApp is popular for emergency assist function and also our visitor management system. So basically, in app like this, in a platform like ours, it enables user to press on a button. They will straight away alert the guardhouse, their family members at one go if there's any emergency, which come in handy in any pandemic situation. And also, our cloud-based visitor management system still runs as per normal during MCO, pre-MCO, even post-MCO in the new world, which will actually emphasize and become more important in the sense that pre-registration and verification of the visitors will become more and more important in terms of safeguarding visitors and security in the neighborhood itself. Right?
I see. You see, now when it comes to the value of the property or the future value of the property, is very much dependent on the effectiveness of JMB, right?
Yes.
Sometimes
yes.
bought a very supposedly luxurious condominium, but if the management sucks, then it would again affect the property price of that so-called luxury condominium or high-rise or even a guarded community. Now, because of this importance, right, do you think that, and the rise of technology and the situation where people are more comfortable to softwares and new technology, what do you think about the property tech or similar devices would be able to work in the future, whether we could actually replace or totally replace the conventional method of management?
Okay, that's a very good question. Let me start off with just saying that some wise men have told us, buying property is like a dating process, right? Most of the time you love at first sight and you fall in love with the one that make your heart skip a bit. Property management is actually like a marriage, right? It needs a lot of work to make you work and so that you can live happily ever after. That's the whole idea. You're right in the sense that good property management will increase the value or preserve the value at the very least to a property, ceteris paribus, excluding external factor like suddenly government build a highway that cut across your neighborhood. That's a different story. Okay, we believe that a platform like ours or any technological tool will actually help property management rather than replace human being per se. It's actually in the way that in some modern countries, you see that one property manager can actually manage 3-4 properties or even more, but not in Malaysia. We Malaysians are very lucky in the sense that we have the luxuries of having one property management team, not only one person, one team by itself for every single neighborhood itself, right? So we believe that with our product, it actually will help to increase efficiency, it make things better, and improve transparency. Most of the time, speaking on behalf of all the property managers out there, most of them, they do a lot of work. But most of the time, you and me, we the residents, we don't see it, we don't know it. And so that we just thought that, hey, my managers are not doing their work. But actually, there's a lot of pipe fixing, maintenance work, preventive work has been done. So a platform like ours, especially like what Ignatius shared just now, a feedback function, a thread, and also our notice board function, etc., will actually help to disclose and improve transparency of the work done in the neighborhood itself. And that, through feedback, resident actually can provide more real-time instant feedback to things like there's a light bulb spoil, pipe stuck, broke, whatever not. So it can help to improve on preventive and corrective measure ASAP. That's the whole idea.
Now, I have actually one last question for JaGaApp. You see, of course, the technology improves a lot of ways in terms of efficiency and also instantaneous feedback. And also, even if you want to post a particular message to the residents, you know, you can immediately post it and all the residents will be able to get it instantaneously, as opposed to posting it at those dashboard in the past, right? And if you can see it, if you don't see it, you don't see it, you know, that kind of things. And now everyone has got a handphone, you got a message, you can send to them and they can get it and read it instantaneously. Now, we are talking about, because of the feedback is so instantaneous, and you know, residents tend to be more reactive in that sense. Now, traditionally, maybe because residents are not so reactive, the management team would not be so busy in that sense. And now they have to deal with 101 things at any point in time. Do you think that from the management point of view, it would instead ultimately increase the cost of management because there will be more work and more manpower would need to be deployed to attend to all this increased feedback, which can be done so easily? While I'm showering, I have got an idea, I can just text it, you know. Instead of in the past, I wouldn't even say it. What do you think about this? Would it actually eventually, you know, complicate the management and increase the cost because of the effectiveness of technology, or it would be otherwise?
Yep, that's again a very good question. Basically, Ignatius and I, we've been through over hundreds of committee meetings and stuff. Basically, there's a common question that we're being asked, so we have a standard answer to that. Well, at the start, if let's say there's a neighborhood itself that never have any system in place, that you always rely on whiteboard and paper and pen. At the start, when you first implement the system, you will see there's an abundance of questions and feedback that keep coming in. But as time move on, when you try to solve it, like what Ignatius shared just now, we encourage committee and building manager to print out on a weekly basis at the very least on all the feedbacks that they collect and go through it and do proper categorization of the questions and the issues. Then once it's solved, it move on and move on. And eventually, just like school homework, you will get it all done now, right? And after a while implementation, based on our observation, in less than probably 1.5 months max, they actually solve out most of the bottlenecks and actually push out those non-so-essential issues and focus on more essential issues using the technology platform like this. The whole idea is you can keep track of all the problems you have. You can be responsible for it. There's full transparency. Residents will be more than happy with that. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys can hear me clearly. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Hong Kit, over to you. Do you have any further questions?
I have no further questions, Loon. I think we'll close the section now. So thanks again to all our guests for coming on board and allow us to gain some insight into the digital world. I hope all our audience enjoy today. Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, Han. Thank you, Chuah. And thank you, Ignatius. And due to many requests we received, we have got the rerun of FAQ on employment and HR issue coming up tomorrow morning. Donovan and Rohan will join us again to answer your question. Do join us tomorrow. As also we mentioned yesterday, all the L2 previous session will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can basically go there to find all our recorded sessions. Well, that's the end of our session today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your day. Stay positive and stay safe. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Loon.
Bye.
Thank you.